I'm Jenny Klochko and welcome to my Monday live. I had a break for 3 months. There were no lives because of my family situation. So for those who are new, welcome to the podcast. And I just explain you that on Mondays we usually discuss the interviews which was published on Sunday on my podcast. For those who are faithful friends of the podcast, I just want to say thank you. Thank you all for your support, for all your kindness. It's been hard for the past 3 months, but of course I read all of your comments and it did help and support a lot. So today I decided I found the strength to come back to live because it's been hard. So, and especially yesterday, what a historical day and what a historical moment. Ukrainian drones SBU operation, the spiderweb, and in 5 airbase. Hit hello Dan. So it's been destroyed 34% of Russian fighter jets, missiles carrier. Was a hilarious day. I was over the moon yesterday, and especially watching what was happening in Twitter with all those memes and everything. It's been amazing. So before we start, I just tell you, usually I read all the media online, but obviously today in the morning I went and specifically bought with the right front page. As you can see, this is Times saying Ukraine drones one hits Russian air bases. Who could resist that? Financial Times, obviously Russia-bound ball Ukraine drone strike. Who would expect that? Who did expect that on the first day of summer? It's the best way to start summer with the new historical page in the Russian-Ukraine war. And obviously Daily Telegraph has the screenshot of the video from those drones, which we've all seen on social media. So I hope you are so excited as I am about this operation. And now today I was talking to my friends, the servicemen, the officers of Ukrainian armed forces, and some of them were skeptical. They say, "Oh my goodness, what's going to come from Russia after them?" Well, I don't see what they haven't done yet. They already destroyed children's hospitals. They were shelling zoos, peaceful civilian infrastructure. They attacked civilians just before Easter on the square. You remember Sumy. Kiev been heavily attacked by missiles and drones recently. Hello. So yes, Russia been nasty, and how they can surprise us. So let's keep our spirits up, and let me know what did you think. What did you think about yesterday, about this attack? And can you imagine how lucky I was? On my channel on Sunday, we posted the interview with not with SBU drone commander, but with the DIU, Defense Intelligence of Ukraine drone commander Estro. We discussed some bits of his work because he's been a very good intelligence officer. He was trying to say as little as possible, but I think it was quite nice. There was quite nice chat about how Ukraine sort of come in this new page of war, and there were no specialists in drones, air drones, FPV drones or sea drones. Yes, Dan, I absolutely agree. Operation Spiderweb is hilarious, is amazing, and I hope more of those operations will actually prove Putin and the world community that Ukraine has a bit of cards, which was President Trump referring to. So it's not lost, but again, there are skeptics about this operation, because we know there's negotiations in Istanbul, and everyone wants peace, everyone in Ukraine, and not so much in Russia, as far as I understand. So I just remind you, those who haven't seen the interview with Maestro, which was published yesterday, we discussed some operations, because I had previously on the podcast interview with 13, commander of the secret group 13, and he told us at that time, that was 6 months ago, and he told how they were taking down the warships, Russian warships, and how they sort of like managing the situation, controlling the situation in the Black Sea. But since then, his team was very successful. They took 2 Mi-8 or Mi-8 helicopters and 2 fighter jets, Su-30. We discussed these operations with Sean Bell. If you haven't watched it, please check it, because it is a historical moment. How come the country without warships, without fleet, can destroy Russian fleet in the Black Sea and actually control and patrol the Black Sea? It's quite a lot of effort, a lot of bravery, and I guess it's just been very optimistic going into it, isn't it? And with Maestro, we discussed, because he is in charge of the air drones, FPV drones, and sea drones. So he's also is related to the Magura operation somehow. He didn't give details, obviously. You know, the intelligence, they would rather keep the information than disclose. But he sang on the podcast, and he shared with me and with all of you who watched it that he's a big fan of Limp Bizkit, and the song he usually sings and playing guitar at home. So let me know, what are your thoughts about this spiderweb operations, and what did you like the most? Did you enjoy Twitter as much as I did, and all those memes and the jokes about the cards and about many other things? I'm not sure you're familiar who is Babasimaluk. I mean, the head of Ukrainian Secret Service SBU. But apparently, obviously, he's probably the most favorite boy at the president's office since yesterday. I was told during my trips to Ukraine how he's actually got promoted and how he became who he is. So before the war, President Zilinski went with his sort of work visit to Zhytomyr region. So Zhytomyr region is just close to Kiev, and they did some sort of scheduled work or something. And Babasimaluk at that time, he was the deputy head of SBU in Zhytomyr region. During those visits, usually the head assists the president and sort of like showing here and there. But on that day, the head of Zhytomyr SBU was ill. He couldn't make it, so he had to miss this president's trip. But Babasimaluk was there, and he was so nice and helpful, and he was so charming. The president thought, he needs to be transferred to Kiev. And this is how he was transferred to Kiev. And if you follow Ukrainian news, you know that he was quite some time acting head of SBU before he was officially appointed. And then finally he did. And as far as I know, everyone was very happy with him. And seems like this is his career opportunity and historical mission to conduct operations, historical operations of Ukraine, and be interesting that he's not on the front pages, but the drones are. And but in Ukrainian media and Ukrainian social media, there was a lot of Babasimaluk and a lot of jokes and sort of this memes how he's driving the truck, and apparently there's a photograph when he's with a dog and the dog looks like him, you know, sort of like this similar message the appearance is sending. So it's quite interesting. So if you have any questions, please ask me and let's have a chat. And while I just remind you about Maestro, the one we discussed yesterday. So he prefers young, because I asked him sort of like his managerial approach, you know, doing special operations, and especially under the pressure of war and the pressure, you know, with the tight deadline and all those extremes. What's his managerial style? Is he Ted Lasso, nice, kind, loving and caring, or he's Sir Alex Ferguson? And he confessed that he's more on the soft side, and he prefers deal with his people more delicately and more diplomatic way, and it also depends how the situation is in the team. Also, I'll be honest with you, I expected more specific information, more sort of about these operations and how they managed to do this distance, or how they achieved this goal. But Maestro decided to keep those things to himself, and instead he opened his human side. And I'll be honest with you, he's very charming, absolutely charming, but I wasn't sure how our viewers will react. And so far I've got very nice and warm. Let's have a look at your comments and see, because, you know, it's just when you do things like that, you'd expect some bits, and then it's turning out something different. So okay, yes, Traumflug was asking sort of like there was the problem with the sound. I just want to explain. Maestro was like almost half an hour late, and everything was on, and I was waiting. And then when he turned out to start the interview, I accidentally stopped recording separate audio, and my picture editor was struggling to make it work. So it was quite a bit of a headache for him. So Traumflug, thank you for your instruction. We took it in, and we'll do another time better. And another viewer with the nick Ala Kazaba. Sorry if I'm. So he was saying drone piloted commander aesthetics is very different from classic soldier. Absolutely, and it's something new, and proved being very successful in Ukraine, and more hacker than brawn, and it gives me an inspiration. It is somewhat like working at tech startup when in a drone unit. There is level of openness, embracing the high pace of change. And his kids serve in the Western Army. All Western armies are seriously behind in applying this tag and in understanding of what battlefield changes have happened. Well, the truth is, Ukraine though successful operation has been conducted, like we've seen yesterday, but Ukraine obviously needs more investments, more financing to increase production of drones, because obviously Russia keeps selling oil. And has lots of funding for drone production. So Ukraine a little bit behind with production, but they're trying the best they can. Only me says, it was an interesting conversation. Oh, thank you for watching. The details of the drone warfare will come out in the future, of course, but the human side of experience is so important to know. Yes, I think so. And you know, I think I'm sort of like, as a journalist, I'm lucky, because if I was the news content maker, it would be difficult, because for news obviously you need facts, you need something new which hasn't been said, but with the podcast you can do whatever you like. You have absolute freedom, and you can open the person. You can you know, it's not just about the technical, it's not about the functions or their expertise, it's also about their hearts, their thoughts, and their minds. So yeah, I think it's just, this is the pleasure or the positive side of the podcast. It opens up differently, and especially we found out with Maestro, he's not very much into sport, but his wife loves watching football, so he has to sit next to her to to accompany her. And so Alakazaba says, great interview, not technical, very human. I'm commercial drone pilot in civilian life. How fascinating, isn't it? And so I hear it all day long, tech talk. That's why I was worried about, that we didn't have enough tech talk. So one rarely gets a sense what it is to be a pilot from such talk, but I have in this interview. I'm so happy you've got it, and I'm so lucky to have Maestro, because you know, the truth is, when these secret agents come to the podcast, and it's very rarely, obviously I don't have direct contact with them, secrecy. And you, for the podcast, you need to prepare their mind, for them to open their heart, mind, soul, and be on this journey with you. And I knew nothing about him, honestly. I knew nothing, and I sort of like, we had to focus on drones. And when we started to say, and he was very hesitating, he wasn't sure what he can say or wasn't say, but he was so charming. And he was quite relaxed when we sort of gravitated into this human side and music. And I suspected he was called Maestro because of the musical side. Apparently, this is the consequences of some other operation which he executed and performed beautifully. So his colleagues started calling him the master, Maestro. So maybe next time when he comes to the podcast with guitar, will sing for us, and we will find out the secrets of that operation. So, and you see, with drones in Ukrainian media field, there's a lot of speculation. On one hand, there's obvious. Lots of people, they want to improve, they want more sophistication, and they're trying, and engineers there to help them, and it's all going well. So on the other hand, there are people who are very skeptical, and they say, oh look, Russia's doing better, oh look, Russia's doing faster, oh, Russia has this mass production of the drones, and it's all very, very sometimes pessimistic, and puts you down. But you see, through centuries, Ukraine mastered the ability, I would say, skill, possibly even talent, to not just to be fighting back for existence against Russia, but also being extremely creative. And Ukraine, I just want to remind you, Ukraine fight is not just about Ukraine or Ukraine's identity or independence. It's actually about peace in Europe. And it's been, you'll be surprised, there are more episodes coming about it, but you'll be surprised how many times through history Ukraine was the protector of the European peace. And I just hope for the next times you will enjoy it more. And if you haven't watched our chat with Maestro about drones, about his preference in music, about challenges he has in his work, please do and let me know how does it, what do you think about it? And I'll try to come back for live on Thursday, our usual time, 7:30 p.m. UK time, and we can discuss the current situation. Maybe we will have more about peace negotiations and the new president in Poland. Congratulations, Poland. And because in Ukraine is very uncertain about this person. He's historical, and he's one of his narratives, electoral sort of narratives. There were some very bitter pages in Ukrainian and Polish history, and it's very relevant and painful for people in Poland. So we will see how it's going to reflect on the help, assistance and support Ukraine in the EU paradigm and NATO membership. Well, hopefully Polish people will understand that Russia is a threat to all of us, because Poland, probably the second country together with Baltics, suffered from Russia a lot through history. Lots of pain, lots of sensitive historical pages. So I hope they will be united with Ukraine for the future. So I think that's it for today, and hopefully to see you all on Thursday. Thank you. I'm Jenny Klochko. Bye.